Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Lucas. Before I start, I just want to thank each of the witnesses for their testimony and sharing their extensive research and opinions with us. Iowa's 4th District, where I'm from, is no stranger to leading in energy and environmental design. With over 65 LEED certified buildings in my district, Northwest Iowa takes a sustainable buildings very seriously. Additionally, I'm an original co-sponsor on Ranking Member Lucas Solsta's Act that includes an increase in the investment in the DOE's Office of Science. Their research can help support the next generation of clean energy and efficiency and technology. Dr. Jackson and Dr. Hegerman, I got a question. Retrofitting existing buildings, which we have a lot of here in the 4th District, is one way to avoid the embodied carbon and cost produced from the building and construction process. What are some of the most cost-effective and carbon-reducing retrofitting techniques that can be utilized today?
So I'll start. I think the most cost-effective, one of the things is it's kind of, as an engineer, it depends. It depends on the application in many cases. And so for the climate, one of the things that you would do is the building facade to ensure that you get the biggest bang for your buck, because that helps you with resilience, particularly as we look forward with climate change and making sure that the building works today, but it also works 50 years from now. So the best you can do is a building facade. And so now going back to the question, or Dr. Eslam mentioned before, we need to ensure that we understand the embodied impact of the materials that go into that facade. And so that's why we need to continue to advance the research in the embodied energy, so that as we do those facade retrofits that can be done today, they can use the least embodied energy approach. So that's one of the most readily available.
So this is Joe Hagerman from Oak Ridge, and I would answer controls and retuning. So controls, if you can get your controls right, tune up the equipment, you can save a lot of money. And then once we have controls available, we can make the schedules fit people's active lives. And then we can also expose those controls to the utilities, so we can start using and leveraging those buildings as a resource to the grid to make the grid more resilient, just as we're making your house more resilient.
That's very good. Hey, this is for anybody. So my district, we're very high into agricultural production. And so we maximize the use of our bio-based materials. As an example, Iowa State Centers for Crop Utilization has worked on projects like creating adhesives and insulation from crops and crop byproducts. These can provide a cost-effective alternative instead of petroleum-based products. Is there a way, or how do we see that we can expand this research? Or do you think this is a good method that we should be spending our time on in future research?
So if I could answer that, yes, and right, we see a lot of those types of cellular materials going into the feedstock for our additive manufacturing machines. So I would encourage you to explore, other uses of those materials too, especially in the advanced construction kind of industry and this 3D printed world we're about to live in.
All right. Well, thank you so much, doctors. Mr. Chair, thank you, and I yield back.